Hey people, Paul Wilson Linder Jr. here, aka Positive Paul. Today is Sunday, June 11th, 2023, around 4:30 p.m. West Coast time, Rosarito Beach, Mexico. And as we anxiously await the presentation to be given tomorrow in DC by the Klingon Dr. Stephen Greer and his cast of characters concerning the UFO UAP disclosure, I was under the belief that this is going to occur at the National Press Club. Now, I did check their website, and it does not display the event on their website. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, we do know that this is supposed to take place tomorrow per Dr. Greer. Now, he is not new to this. He has, we'll give him credit. He's been in the forefront. But what we're going to do, we're going to quickly go down some of the reasons of why this once again will become, well, as they say, a nothing burger. And, you know, a lot of this activity that they may be talking about seems to be occurring around myself, and very few people are able to properly document and present evidence and explain why this would be occurring. Now, Hollywood has conditioned us like Pavlov dogs and other sources to believe that UFOs are these shiny, metallic, spherical, disc-like anti-gravity crafts that move through the sky very quickly. And you're looking at a recent post by one of the YouTube channels I follow that is located here in Mexico. And if anybody would like to check it out, it is Skywatchers con Carlos. And, you know, this individual, I believe his intentions are genuine. He has been on YouTube for over 12 years, so that gives him credibility. But, you know, we got to ask ourselves, historically, since this has crept into the public consciousness, specifically kind of the Western civilization that some of us take it very seriously, we get these reports. But what I've noticed is a lot of these reports are what I'll describe as one-hit wonders, flash in the pans, one-trick ponies. And usually these reports, they're always handed over to a third party to let them kind of to give the breakdown of the very important information that an individual concerning these matters would include in their documentation, such as time, date, location, what were they doing, why is this occurring around the individual, and you never get those explanations. Now, those of us that are knee-deep in the conspiratorial swamp, we know that with these UFO UAPs, more than likely, the occupants of these craft are what we generally term as aliens. And, we've been told there's a very long list of these alien groups that are out there, in some faraway galaxy, but yet they seem to be interested in Earth. And furthermore, the humans that reside on Earth. Now, as I've been documenting for the past 8 years, a lot of this activity occurs around myself. And I attribute it to my MK Ultra involvement as a child going back to the 60s and early 70s, satanic ritual abuse, but more importantly, these implants that are in me from head to toe. And after 8 years of suffering on social media, dealing with these social media frauds, I have yet to really find anybody that can accurately testify witness concerning implants. Now, we know that there's these slippery, slimy, sleazy super soldiers that they time travel, they're fighting galactic wars, they're running around outer space. And if that was the case, the situation, the controllers certainly want to be able to keep track of these individuals. And the one way to do that is to have implants in them. But what I'm going to do is, this is going to be an all over the map video. And once again, I will explain on what these UFOs, these UAPs really look like and what they're about. Now, let's just make it clear. Let's be fair. The children of men here, if you're in this dimension, this reality, we know that we have come up with many inventions, one being the airplane. And if they can construct a 747, a Chinook helicopter, a drone, well, look, is it possible that they can, reverse engineer or, create on their own a vehicle that can transverse travel through hyperspace into other dimensions? And, the main thing is not getting burned up. So, look, we got to tell ourselves that, yes, this is possible. But the thing again, remember, folks, these craft, all right, they've always been identified with these aliens. And the best that we can do as the children of men is reverse engineer them. So let's, real quick, I want to just show one thing concerning Mexico, where I'm at. And, if you ask these people about Santeria, they know about that. They know about the cartel. If you mention the cartel to, the normal Mexican, they will put their head down. They will run and hide. They will get the hell as far as away from the person asking them of what the deal is. But in Mexico, it has always been a hot spot for UFOs. Now, when we look at the quick history of Mexico and how it relates to the Mayans and the Aztec, and remember, these were ritualistic societies that sacrificed children. We discover by the interest, the curiosity of men and women around the globe that have had the resources to go deep into Mexico. They've discovered where these locations are, and excuse my pronunciation, but Chichen Itza, out there in the Yucatan, Teotihuacan, where these pyramid structures are, we have these glyphs. And here is one of the original glyphs as presented by a person that is interested in this in Tijuana. Now, most of you might know, well, maybe you don't know, but Quetzalcoatl, the fiery feathered plumed serpent, is one of the incarnations of Satan. And this might be him right there, maybe not, but we do see the flying saucer. We see these little, I don't know what you call them. They look like little grays. I don't know. But you see a lot of this, what could be termed as artwork. But, excuse me, This was done thousands of years ago. So is this due to an act of imagination, or did they come in contact with these flying saucers, these little green Martians? I don't know, but it begs the question, and that's why there is great interest specifically going deep into Mexico. So with that being said, let's continue. Bear with me, folks. And hold on, we're getting there. We are going to do this. I want to... All right, where is it? Okay, here it is. All right, excuse me. Okay, this is one of my many flyover videos. I've been documenting this since the summer of 2016, and I've been complaining about my censorship and censorship of others, but in particular, I seem to be one of the few ones that has this activity occurring around me. And as I state over and over ad nauseum of why this is occurring, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look. Right there is the perp plane, this little white dot, but let's look at this. Friday afternoon, coming up around 3:15, maybe April 28th, 2023. Oops. Okay. Now let's go back. April 28th, 2023. And let's see if we can find it. Right? This is tricky business, folks. Right there. Okay. You see that. The electromagnetic signature imprint right there. I got it. Right there. You can see that. Now that is what I term to be a UFO. But the question is, within my video footage with these flyovers, which are resets, you always see what I term to be the alien insectoid. So, what do we know about alien insectoids? Well, I guess not much. If some of us that have been knee deep in the conspiratorial swamp, you would have at one point, read all of Bill Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse, or at least looked at it, and you would have discovered that he lightly touched upon these alien insectoids. And it wouldn't be until around 2012 that you see the Draco Ditz Carrie Cassidy on Project Camelot, where she interviews Stuart Swerdlow, and he tells us about these alien insectoids, how they are hanging out in the Kuiper Belt, but more specifically, there's just not one. So what I've been able to document is literally, I'm going to show you right now at least 5 or 6 different types of alien insectoids. Now, I relate this to the fact that this has something to do with this infamous Montauk Project, specifically between the years of 1980 and 1983. Now, we are coming on the 40th anniversary of the infamous August 12th, 1983 date, where supposedly the Montauk Project crashed. And we'll get back to this here shortly. But here's the thing. I do at times over the years, I have seen in other people's videos these alien insectoids. Now, some of them are testifying to bizarre happenings in their life. Others are just normal videos. And so you would have to beg the question about that, but it's far and few. Now, in order to really wrap your mind around this, you have to properly examine the individual's videos. And I've had someone lately that has came to my rescue and been helping me financially and helping me with these videos. This individual has gone above and beyond the call of duty. I wish I could find more support, but I'm very thankful for what I have right now. So what I want to do is I want to quickly go through these alien insectoids. Now, when you look at this particular one, a lot of you might say, well, it looks like a bumblebee. And I would say, well, yeah, at first glance, it sure does. But what happens is, this is part of a video that I made concerning a flyover. Now, some of you that actually watch my videos, you understand that I have two locations that I stay at. One is way back up in the hills, which they do not want me there. They've been trying for years to get me out of there. They have most of the neighbors bought off to be community watch snitches, to let them know when I arrive, when I leave. But what's very telling is, why in all my videos are these creatures there? So there's one. Now here's my famous 2016 video that YouTube removed. So did Facebook. I had a Facebook page back then that was a total disaster. I could go back over that, but that's not helping us right now. But here is a video where you see the reptilian demon, right? And I guess electromagnetic signature, but with the perp plane. So I have 3 screen captures, one of the reptilian demon right here, and the other are of grays. Now, one might say, well, hey, that's a hologram, but how do you explain that? And if you've looked at my other videos, which, look, my YouTube channel's been destroyed. What they did early on is they had me surrounded by these social media frauds. When I had my comment section open, I would get bombarded by these dopey, nameless, faceless, useless comment perps to mock me. And, while all this is going on, these social media frauds are doing their Hollywood hybrid act, getting millions of views. And it's just a hell of a thing to live through, but I lived through it. It's no longer 2016, folks. There were no military tribunals. There were no rounding up the pedophiles to 66,000 indictments. Cue these asshole white hats. So, in my footage, I can really, I can dial in on these things. So, why are these things cruising around me? Why are they hanging around me? Is it possible that I may have been the one that somehow, with this time shift, have something to do with that? I mean, look, you all got great stories. I've been forced to listen to all of them because, early on, look, there's no work for me. There's nothing. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And I covered just about everything that social media had to offer. If I get my hands on books, I would, do that. But that takes money. And, fortunately for the internet, there are things that are available. So I just, I get, you can see here, this is a classic with the chemtrails, but with these alien insectoids, they come in all sizes, shapes, and forms. And, just like the race relations among humans, do you think these alien insectoids are working together, or do they have some type of, biased racial issues amongst themselves? What do you think, folks? So there's 3. Let's look at this one. Popping off the EMP. Right there's the perp plane. Now, what's interesting about this screen capture is there's a little hilltop I used to go to. This is from a 2019 video, but what happened is the type of footage I was putting up on YouTube and now BitChute, they could not have that. So what they did is they found out who owned that little, piece of land, and they went in and they demolished everything and put someone in there, a relative or whatever, and now I no longer have access to get up there because it had a complete overview of everything. And there, there it is. That's number 4. Now look at this one. This is, and again, let's keep in mind these all occurred during flyovers. And it doesn't just have to be flyovers. You've seen them in videos where I've tried to do maybe read scripture, or I do a rant. If it's outside, you'll see them. Interesting. And these are the most common ones that I noticed. They have that transparency to their wings. Some of them will have electromagnetic fields around them. Here's a different one. So what is that? We up to, 6 now? That's a different one. Again, perp plane, alien insectoid. Here's one where you could see electromagnetic field around it. And look, folks, I am not computer savvy. I don't have a video editor. I wouldn't know how to doctor up footage or do anything, all right? I'm just a lowly, humble servant of the Lord, a lowly worm that, I attribute all my success to my Heavenly Father because, look, there's really no one. My family's abandoned me. I had a high-ranking Satanist within my family going all the way back to the mid, 1800s. So, I've done my homework. So that's why they can only just fuck with me, spending millions of dollars a year on this little pissant harassment campaign, using these Mexicans, exploiting them. Because, look, they could care less about these UFOs, these Satanists. They think it has nothing to do with them. Absolutely nothing. End times? What the hell is that? UAP? Alien insectoid? And look, I've tried. Now here's one of my original ones, and this is from October 22nd, 2016. And I don't know if some of you remember, I haven't heard much about it lately, but they wanted to tell me these are rods. And that description, that term, I haven't heard used recently, but there was a point like 2016 prior to that where that term was being used to somehow explain away what these were. So they're very interesting. They'll be with the chemtrails. Take a good look. And they get right, if I had a good video editor on these flyovers, I can do it, but they're right up on them. And so, as you see, whether this right here is an effect of the lens, the phone, the light entering the lens, whatever it is, I question that. Now, for you sky watchers out there that were watching my videos back in 2017-18 with my sky watches, nobody can produce what I've produced. You can't see that whatever it is, that demon. You can't see that this is not right. That's not normal. We know this. And so watching these sky watchers, oh, there's the spaceship up in the clouds, disguising as a cloud. Look at all the pretty colors. Such a hell of a thing. And here's my famous shot of Lucifer. Right there. Take a good look, people. With the double lens flare. Right there. And the fallen angel at the bottom. There's only two timelines. The original and this one right here, which is going away soon. These Satanists are on borrowed time. They can't fix shit. All they're doing is delaying their demise. All right. Now, here's what I believe to be a DARPA, schmarpa, some type of mechanical thing that was in a video of mine. Alien insectoid. See, here's the thing that there's no one on planet Earth that can produce this documentation. With them in the screen capture, in the photo, with these things. Now, here's a funny one right here. This is a stalker. This is years back. What it is the house I'm in, here's the street. And there's a window right over there. And, you know, they had noise campaigns like you would not believe. And so this was at a time when they did not want me making videos. So they send this perp bitch over with the audio vox. And she was blasting music as I was trying to make a video. But look what's right above her. Alien insectoid. And then what happened was she pissed me off, so I stuck the phone out the window and took a picture of her. And she looked right at me. And then guess what she did? She scurried off like the little rat snitch, stoolie she is. Right there. So, quite a few of them. I don't know, what is this, 9, 10? There they are. There I am. Now, this is the exact same one with the stalker bitch. Look at the wings right there. But there's an individual who I have a lot of respect for. His name is Kevin Meredith. He claimed to be a targeted individual. And as I've stated for years now, that whole thing was a farce. The reason why they developed that term is because if these people that have been going through some type of harassment, you know, all the weird stuff that comes along with it, if they were saying and figured out that they were a satanic ritual abuse survivor, that doesn't work for these dumb fuck Satanists. So what they cleverly did is they put these social media frauds up. As far as I could tell, my research going back to maybe 2008, 2009, and created the term targeted individual. Now let's make it clear, people are suffering. Yes, they're being targeted, but this goes back. You have to go to your family first, and then for you eggheads, for you alien abductees, then I guess you're next. But, you know, again, All these alien abductees, they're one hit, one trick pony, flash in the pans, right? Oh, I got abducted. I've got missing time. But that's it. They can't explain nothing else. They won't tell you who they are. Oh, just, yeah, I was missing for a week. But Kevin is one of the few ones that has these alien insectoids in his video. Now, he's gone away. He got sick of it. I know exactly how this guy feels. Why the hell am I doing this? It's not getting me anywhere. But, it's been 2 years. So anyway, this is a God-fearing human that has the Holy Spirit within him, and he knows what's going on. So Kevin, I hope you're well. My prayers are with you. God bless. Now let's see, what else? Let's see here. So with the flyovers, what do I keep talking about? The red underbelly American Nazi Edomite Satanist purplane, or the blue underbelly. Always you have these electromagnetic imprints, footprints, zipping around by the plane. There's another one. You can see down the bottom clearly. You see where they blast off these EMP bursts, whatever type of technology that's in me, they need to reset. Has something to do with their false reality. And you can see my videos where things start to fragment. You get that lifting, the veil is lifting. And this is the telltale sign, the electromagnetic pulse that these perp planes give off. And the plane literally turns into this. Now, these so-called Illuminati types, wherever they're festering, over in Europe, over in London, over in D.C., in Texas, George Bush country, wherever else you find them at, they know what this is about. Now, what I've just gone over right now, do you think the Klingon, Dr. Stephen Greer, will be able to present any of this to these pinheads in D.C.? Highly doubt it. He knows who I am. Now they get crazy with these resets. When things go haywire, they got to bust out the big guns, and you get these what look like planes, but they come over and they're just popping off these flashes, lighting up as I explain, and yet there it is. There's your UFO hanging around me. There it is. Look at the bluish, light blue, emits a light blue flash around it. So someone on BitChute, a very, I guess, intelligent person, mentioned one time, how would that have an effect on me if they're way up there in the air? Aren't they too far away? I don't know, sir. But what I do know is they're there, and they wouldn't be doing this if this was not accomplishing something for them. There you go again. Red underbelly. Blue underbelly. Red underbelly. Blue underbelly. Okay. Now, that's what the real Al Bielek looks like. And we are going to keep revisiting this. And, they have been able to keep me occupied as of recently. But I'm not done. I'm not going away. So I don't know what they expect. They can keep running their slander campaign down here in Mexico and wherever else I go. you know? I just, hey, like I said, I'm here with my son's mom. Anybody can come question me about anything, but they won't. They can't. These poor Mexicans are getting led around by the nose by these dumb fuck American Nazi Edomite Satanists that throw their money around, their lies, these lazy, lying lizards. Now, this is something, I did this video a while back concerning the East Hampton Historical Society and their documentation of the shutdown of Montauk. Now, this picture is from the summer of 1984. You can see all the equipment was being drug out of the building. Right there's the famous radar tower, the Sage radar. So what I find interesting is none of these assholes got their stories straight about Montauk. I spent years listening to these characters, Al, Preston, Stewart, and the ones that came after them, they don't have it. It's as if they have not even listened to these people. They can't even follow the storyline. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So, I thought this was interesting. This was about 2 weeks ago. A truck had been sputtering down the street, and the thing died right in front of the house. And I heard it because it was making noise. And I go out, I look at the truck, and I look at the license plate. I'm just like, this is too good to be true. Can't make it up, folks. Only Hollywood. Now, we do know that in outer space, there's a lot going on out there. And for the one, I guess the one question I have is for like these ESETI types, James Gilligan. These people are sitting down with these aliens and they know them by name. All right? The Orion Council of Light, the Arcturans, the Palladians, the reptilians. How when they get together, how are they introducing themselves? Now, both these little screen captures are from September 23rd, 2017. I'm sorry. Right there's the moon below Virgo. But that's what it looked like where I was at, right up there at that location, and there I am. That's me. That's me right there. September 23rd, 2017. You know, what's weird is this orb is purple, but it's not showing up on the screen. It just looks like bright white light. But again, I am waiting for someone, one of these slippery, slimy, sleazy super soldiers, to come up with something, to show me a picture. If you have time traveled, if you were put through satanic rituals, you will have some type of indication, meaning, for one, these orbs, which are spirits, these alien insectoids, or these grays, or these reptilians, you think that they could produce something, but they can't. Why is that? Now, the other thing in my photos, my videos, again, I have over 6,000 photos from a Sony Cybershot that they were able to steal around 2020. And that's where I get these orb photos from. They do occur from the iPhone or iPad, but not as distinct. They're not as pronounced. But what I do get with the iPhone is what I call the dark opaque ethereal fluid-like substance, the mark that I have. And I've been trying to witness to these people down here that when you're playing games with me, all right, some of these neighbors, they're tears. I have photos of them with the mark above them. And it's very sad to know which one is which, because if you don't think there's not a separation of the wheat and tares going on right now, and the white throne judgment, goats on the left, sheep on the right, are not going to be occurring very soon, I would think again. But here's an interesting photo from February 2014, somewhere in Sinaloa. And on the side of the mountain, it says, Jesus Cristo, La Camino. Jesus Christ is the way. But lo and behold, look at the mark. Look at the mark right there. Very interesting, folks. And look, what can I tell you? I can only witness to these people and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. What they do is, see, a lot of them that got caught flat-footed, these snitches, they go to my son's mom and be like, well, why didn't he tell you about all this? I'll give you people a clue that, you know, what happens when sometimes a man and a woman get together, they have sex. Sometimes there's a baby created. And, you know, I'd only known this individual for a couple months, you know, and it's, look, when you first meet somebody, you don't say, hey, yeah, you know, my family's a bunch of whack jobs. I discovered that there's a high-ranking Satanist that's been controlling my family for well over 100 years. It's not something that you, you know, if you want to try to get to know somebody, that's not the way to go about it. So what happened is once she got pregnant, that's when these assholes started flipping out. That was the last thing they needed. But here is this is very interesting. In Tijuana, you have the Cuauhtemoc statue. Now, if anybody knows about Cuauhtemoc, he's one of the most fierce warriors known to Mexican history. And there's a huge statue right in a traffic circle. And the day, this would have been a couple months back, and I was passing through, I was a passenger with somebody, and we were waiting right here at the traffic circle, and the day before, there had been a large demonstration of women complaining about the Mexican men. They're tired of, you know, being bossed around, being slapped around, you know the deal. And look, you got to be fair to Mexican men. Look, these people have been left poor, tired, hungry, some cases uneducated, and, you know, you can't blame them. And this is a situation in other parts of the world. But the thing of it is, I got this snapshot, but as I drove, you know, was driving with this person, I was able to stick the phone out the window and capture this picture of the top of Cuauhtemoc with the mark right above it. And actually, there's 3 of them. One down here, a little one, and this. So, man, it's like, if you people are not convinced that these eggheads that run these global governments are up to no good, and they're dealing with, at best, you know, Satan and his merry band of fallen angels, which are supposed to be aliens. But we can also say, look, if we are alive, we're here, maybe somewhere else in a far-off galaxy, there really are these aliens, but why do they want to fuck with us? Why are they so concerned about Earth and humans? Is it something to do with the child sacrifice? Something to do with destroying Jacob? Something to do with destroying the seed of Abraham, Noah? Anything to do with that? McFly? Hello? Couldn't be, right? Now let's look at the mark. Some of these stalkers, this is an old photo. And look, I've got nothing against these people. I'm trying to help them. But they've been lied to. And what they do now, because the stolen car entrapment scheme has ran out of steam years ago, they just run around, say, oh, I'm a drug addict, I'm crazy, this and that. And they promote racial animosity against me. And some of these Mexicans that have had bad experiences, maybe they've been deported, all right, they tap into the deportee population because they're vulnerable. These people need money. All you do is wave $1 in front of them their face, and they'll do whatever they're told. But the mark is there. And when that mark is in that photo, that means bad luck can strike at any moment. Now, you hear me talk about the Camaro Clown Club stalkers. Here's one of the main ones with the mark right there. I've got another screen capture of him where the UFO is right there. It just, man, here's right at the border as I was walking, getting ready to go walk across right through the gate. There's the mark. Clear as day. Clear as day. Now, do you think these Customs and Border Patrol people, do you think they know about the aliens? Or they just know about the illegal aliens? What do you think, folks? So again, it doesn't matter. The police, when they're up to their satanic shenanigans, getting these poor Mexicans to follow me around and play games, and the mark follows me and it's there, and I tell you, and look, there's been bad luck. I'd say the body count, they won't talk about it, but people have been dropping like flies around here. So, yeah, military base, right there's the mark as I drove by. So, what do you want from me? But see, here's the thing. These people would know nothing about me or who I am if it wasn't for these dumb fuck American Nazi Edomite Satanists that are shitting their pants. And they need to keep an eye on me because they know their time is up. It's a done deal. They've got so much blood on their hands. Oh boy, I tell you, tribulation comes, boy, that's going to be so fun. To see these little worms, these Benedict Arnolds in the United States when the ATMs shut down. And the preppers, I've explained this to the preppers. You ninnies that keep spending all your money stocking up on spam and ammo, it ain't going to do you a bit of good when they come in, when China comes in, Russia, whoever. Boy, they're going to knock on your door. They're going to have 50 cows locked and loaded. They're going to have directed energy weapons, and they're going to blast you right out of your cushy little lair and take your prepping garbage with them. You comprende, mi amigo? And look, the only people that are prepping are these dumbass Americans. They don't get it. I remember this guy, Patrick. His older brother was a lawyer, and he drew up NAFTA, and he lives in China. And he gave me some information way back when. But this guy had a U-Haul storage shed that he stocked up with spam. I had a picture of it. If I showed you this picture, you people would laugh your asses off. Now, this was 20 years ago that Patrick was talking about China and stocking up on spam and trying to get his hands on guns. But again, like I said, if there's 1 billion of them and only, say 100,000 Benedict Arnolds, that's not going to cut the mustard. They're going to blow you right out of the sky. Now, here's a little perp gang stalker with the mark right there. And notice, this is what they all do. They have this behavioral pattern, and they get this look on their face once I spot them. And I have dozens of pictures of people driving and covering their face. They don't really do it much anymore, but in the beginning, I would get these people, I put the camera and they would cover their face and they're driving or trying to turn his hat and put his head down because he knows what he's doing and the mark is there. So, man, I would really consider, like, these people, they don't even consider what they're doing could be wrong. The thought doesn't even occur to them. Their excuse is, we're in Mexico. We do what we want. You're just a dumb American that we've been told that we got to look after you and babysit you. But they don't even, look, these people are being told when to go out of their houses, when to walk their dogs, what to wear, what to say, given cars. Some are getting houses remodeled, and they're all been given security systems because they're tired of dealing with me. And so they run and hide back in their houses when they see me walking down the street. They'll put their little phone call or text message in to get their chump change or whatever it is that they offer them. But it got to a point where they got sick and tired of me being in their face. So now that you could tell, the ones that got their little security cameras, there was nothing. Now remember, if the cartel was walking down the street, they would run and hide under their beds. If a crime was being committed by the cartel right in front of their security camera, well, we didn't have it on. We don't know what happened. If they came in and grabbed, say, one of their daughters, started raping them, they would just, hey, hey, look, just don't shoot me, all right? Take what you want, empty out the fridge, here's a couple pesos, do what you want. But when the gringo walks down the street, how hypocritical is that? Can you believe that, people, that this is going on? And look, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I'm waiting for someone to come question me. And it has yet to happen. So you tell me, folks, these investigators, these corrupt investigators with the mark right above them, what they do is they pretend to investigate. And I have enough stories. And I used to go down to the office and talk to them. But see, now they're sick of me. What they do is they fence things off. They restrict my access. And then they, of course, well, you need an interpreter. And of course, none of them know. They don't know anything about me or why. What are you talking about? Yeah, you got these Satanists camped out down here. They're everywhere, all over Mexico, all over the world. Don't you know about that? That the money's drying up? Here's the famous shot of Lucifer. Right there he is. Right there he is. Your buddy, your pal. Now, Dr. Greer. You see how I get off track? He's been in the forefront of this. Oh, when I was a little kid back in '63, I saw lights in the sky. Then I became a doctor. But then more UFOs. And his big thing that put him on the map was this thing in Pensacola, Florida that he talks about in 1992. And because they were at the right place in the right time, and I don't know if this is the exact incident, but he talks about it. What happened was he submitted these photos in this article for the Pensacola newspaper. And what that did was attract these sad sack Satanists, these government operatives, and they went looking for him. And so what happened was I guess they had a talk with Mr. Greer. And they maybe said, we'll let you have your fun. We'll let you squawk about these UFOs. And so what ended up happening was, Project Starlight Coalition. He he was able to get in front of Clinton or something, where he submits this letter, June 4th, 95. Dear Mr. President, Starlight, group of American international citizens working to effect public disclosure on UFO extraterrestrial issue. Yada, yada, yada. And there they all are, whoever they are. So he's been in the forefront, all right? And you would think that, this guy might show up on Prophecy Club back then, because Pastor Stan had everybody on there, Fritz, all that. See, you people, you need to have done your homework, and that takes a lot of time. And because, look, they destroyed my life. I'm blacklisted in the United States. They try to keep me busy here in Mexico for $20 a day, but I've had a lot of time on my hands. So I've listened to it all. I try to read whatever I can read, get my hands on whatever I can get my hands on. And you come to the conclusion that some of these are frauds placed to what we all know and what we all call to purport disinformation, to confuse people, mislead people. And so here he is again, and for some reason, all right, they keep trying to do this, get these characters to come clean. And so here he is. He has to give more of his documentation to Podesta, to give to Obama. All right? Now, that's all I'll say. You can do your own research and figure this out on your own. So here's what we got. Ooh, the special presentation briefing for Obama by Stephen Greer, director of the Disclosure Project. Okay, well, that's good. And look what Robert F. Kennedy said in 1966, the year I was born. This is what he includes in his presentation. Few men are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is rarer commodity than bravery in battle or great intelligence. Yeah, well put there, Mr. Kennedy. And you should have told that to Sirhan before he pulled the trigger. So here's what I'll say about old Stephen Greer. I went into the Clinton Library. I've been researching. And lo and behold, to prepare for this presentation tomorrow, for some reason, this citation, which was accessed on June 11th, 2023, which is today, the day before, is now putting his veracity, his validation of everything he does in question. Why is that date in the Clinton Library? Do you people understand what I'm telling you? Do you get it? Do you comprende, mi amigos? Do you see how they just keep setting this up, stringing us along? And I'm the one that can bring the evidence, bring the testimony. And there's other ones, but I don't think they're beat down. They can't get online. They got no one helping them. They've been killed off by a time-tested method. This is not right. I'm putting this in question. And you, man, mark my words. Like I said in my video weeks back, they're going to string us along with this bullshit because you never will get to the bottom of this UFO UAP thing. What's going to happen first? It's called the Day of the Lord, and get ready. Now, here he is. He's propping up all his things the past couple months. And these YouTube channels, 1.3 million subscribers. He gets 2 million views to listen to Greer tell his story. And this man, these UFO characters, I've heard it all. I listened to Art Bell in the 90s. You know, I read Bill Cooper's book, most of it. I looked at it. You know, what are some of Art Bell's classics? Father Malachi Martin, right? Ed Dames, the remote viewer, right? And of course, let's not forget Al and Preston's, appearance back in 93, 94. And look, the list goes on. But here's one of them. Beware of the individual whose first name is initials. Here he is, he's putting up some bimbo from New Mexico last week, sends in her picture of this UFO. And so he puts it up there. But she can't say who she is, and other than the fact that this came out in New Mexico. But what is this, a flying egg? All right, a flying boiled egg. And this guy is very intelligent, and he's well funded. He traveled, he looked, the Nephilim, but you know who his buddy was? Russ Dizdar. See, Russ, he's on the bottom of the ladder of this. That's why, they shut him up real quick. And see, what happens is these people are on borrowed time. They've made millions of dollars flapping their gums about this nonsense. Aliens, UFOs, reptilians. Oh, now it's UAPs. What's next? This is sick that these people over the past 40 years have made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, off the blood of dead children, meaning Jacob. Get it through your fucking thick heads. Now, the baby Draco hybrid, this character, this is just the other week or other month, Rapunzel here, says he was part of the Montauk Project. All right? He was with Preston. Now, what did I tell you people? All right? If you're going to say that you were part of the original MK Ultra right now, that means you are at least between 55 and 70 years old. Now, when these little snot-nosed secret space program participants, I don't care if they're super soldiers or, they say, his thing is he was a gifted child. He was in the TAG program or something. These stories they come up with, they're just amazing. But see, they make one mistake, all right? When they try to tell the Montauk story, they can't get it straight. He's saying that, one of the Montauk boy psychics was sitting in the chair and created Junior. When we all know the story goes that Duncan was the one that was in the chair. He was supposed to be the one that created Junior because him and Preston and these other people who are unnamed, don't know who they are. Remember, only 4 people live to tell the tale of Montauk. They give it legs, give it life, give it birth. But this dunce, he can't get his story straight. And there is contradiction after contradiction. But because these Satanists control social media, they control the internet, they can parse out the people like me that can, kind of come close to what happened. Because if you don't think this memory erasure stuff, EDM, electronic dissolution of memory, I got the moles on my shoulder, on my face that shows where they had these electrodes hooked up to me. These sicko, psycho Satanists. They are going to burn in hell. Burn in hell, baby. But this is what you get. This super soldier. Come on, man. This is the best we can do. Now, I've listened to this guy twice now. He seems okay. There's some discrepancies. But here's the problem. All right, he's squawking about Area 51, Greys, reptilians, clones, because he was a sniper out there in S4 and Dulce. And he's seen some things that didn't sit right with him. And so he wants to tell his story. But they don't really say who he is. But in the comment section, the people, which are a lot of comments, are saying that his name is Jimmy Payne. Now, this Jimmy Payne character shows up on the Baby Draco Hybrid Super Soldier channel. Not once, not twice, maybe 3 times, but I saw twice. And the Jimmy Payne don't sound nothing like this guy. Now, maybe they could have been using a different microphone, something making his voice different, but that's putting him in question. Now, look, remember when Squeaky Fromm, and there's a bunch of them, Laura Eisenhower, and then you get Squeaky Fromm too. I wanted to start a band, Squeaky Fromm and the Squeakettes. And what was it? Laura Eisenhower, Lisa Haven, Jubilina Redeem were going to be my backup singers. It would have been a blast. Take them out on tour. Trump planning mass arrests, military tribunals, has the deep state met its match. Well, tell me, where's these fucking white hats, these screwballs? They don't want to know nothing about me. Oh, Q. Can you believe this? Rounding up the pedophiles. Yeah. I cannot believe this. Now look, you would think the screwball would know, but here, Alexander Duncan Cameron, the primary psychic on the Montauk chair, passes away 9:33 p.m., May 9th, 2019. And he was born June 29th, 1951. They got this guy being born in 63. And of course, because of the Philadelphia experiment, they had to age regress him. But this date don't match up with anything that they talked about. Man, this is such a farce. And to show you that these characters, look at the date, January 18th, 2020. I, twice, well before that, 19, and right around there, I talked about the Wilson brothers, because when Al first started telling his story about the Philadelphia experiment, he shows up in Dallas at a MUFON concert, January 1990. And this is the one and only time he tells about the story that Preston had time traveled, and these Wilson brothers, this is back in 1899 or something, they have a picture of Preston, Aleister Crowley, and the Wilson brothers. And so the people that took over for this, scientific, look, they used my exact stuff. It was a Scientific Instrument Corporation out in Britain. But what they do is they tell Preston in 1985 is one story where him, Al, and Duncan are at a psychotronics conference in Dayton, Ohio. And there's another one where they have them in New York where the Wilson brothers say, "Oh, we've been looking for you," meaning Preston. And we have this photo. You were the man from the future, and Aleister Crowley told us about you, and he also gave us the story about the Philadelphia experiment back in 1899. Now, Peter Moonbeam is another one of these characters. Look, man, if it takes a village to raise a child to keep a conspiracy theory going, you need a lot of lazy lying lizards because they're expendable. They drop like flies. And for some reason, I don't know, they can't get rid of me. What do you think about that, folks? Now, here's how I am going to wrap this up. Pastor Stan is someone who I like. Very well-spoken. He's got that folksy type of thing to him. And look, you can't say this guy has not been ahead of the curve. He had Dimitri Duduman, all right, on the Prophecy Club going back to whenever he showed up in the 90s, telling him how Mystery Babylon, meaning USA, is going to be destroyed. But see, here's the thing, folks. The Montauk Project, 1983. These boys, we brought back the news about the destruction. And ever since then, these Satanists have been shaking in their boots. And they killed off these other boys that were with me because it was a small group, as I've already explained ad nauseum. Less than 30. But here you go. Now, this is something, my most recent upload on YouTube. And Jude, you were, I tell you, man, you are just, look, I've got so much respect for you now since you've been helping me out, but you stumbled upon this, and look at this. Watch this ship, this oil barge, disappear. Watch this. Do you see that, people? And I will link the YouTube video and the BitChute thing for you BitChute people if you want to look at it. But if they made the Eldritch disappear, here's your proof. Is this an effect of the lens, the light coming in the lens? Why is that oil barge there and not there? Why is that, folks? Only the shadow knows.